June 7th will see an absolutely massive number of Americans go to the polls to close out the Democratic primary. I mean, we're going to have, across the country, a number of states, huge amounts of delegates, New Jersey, and obviously the behemoth of California as well. And so they're going to be going to the polls, but unfortunately they're going to be going without a real closing statement from the candidates, since Hillary Clinton has decided to renege on her promise to allow one more debate. Fox had been trying to set up a California debate before the final primary with Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton, and she thought, nah, don't really care about telling the millions of people in California, let alone in other states, where I stand, how I might have evolved over the past few weeks since it's been so long since we had a debate. And a spokesperson for her campaign said this: "We've declined Fox News' invitation to participate in a debate in California. As we've said previously, we plan to compete hard in the remaining primary states, particularly California, while turning our attention to the threat a Donald Trump presidency poses." Yes, they're going to compete hard, just not hard enough to actually show up to debates, which seems a bit lax to me, honestly.
Okay, terrible idea. Clearly a mistake. Let me explain why. Look, everybody knows that I agree more with Bernie Sanders than I do with Hillary Clinton. So they'll think, oh yeah, you're trying to get her into a debate so that Bernie Sanders can win. No. Listen, I don't want Donald Trump to win. So let me explain what I think is my political analysis of the situation as to why Hillary Clinton should definitely do this debate. Okay, number one, your number one objective going forward, if you really believe what you say, which is that you've already won this race, okay. And I get it, even on pledged delegates, that you've got a very good case to make there. So if you actually have internalized that, you know what you should do? You should do the debate and compliment Bernie the whole time. Now the Clinton camp will be like, oh yeah, you see that? I knew it. No, you're trying
I got a shiv to compliment him with.
Right. No, you've got to win over his voters, and that is not a gimme. It's not necessarily a layup. And so what great opportunity right before you have California voting. Right now she's leading in the polls in California to go out there and use a national stage to compliment the guy whose voters you would like.
Every Bernie fan will be watching that debate if they had it.
It's a golden opportunity. Okay, fine. I would be shocked if they did that.
Yeah.
And they'll think, oh yeah, they're trying to play tricks like we play tricks. No, we're trying to actually give you real advice.
Yeah, and really fast, specifically on that point, we know what their strategy is to bridge the divide. It's to yell at Bernie Sanders supporters as much as possible, to scold them, and to say that they're going to put Donald Trump into the White House.
Okay, now let's get to the other 3 points. So secondly, use the opportunity to attack Trump ferociously. You've got a national stage given to you. Take it. And by the way, when you attack Trump, it's going to draw Bernie Sanders into attacking Trump as well, right? Because he can't just attack it, and you will have moved the conversation to that topic. And in that topic, what is Bernie Sanders going to do? Attack Donald Trump. And then all of a sudden, you have turned your disadvantage into an advantage because now you got a 2-on-1. Okay? So as long as Bernie Sanders is in the race, you should be using that to have a 2-on-1 against Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, Sanders is going to run against Hillary Clinton. Nobody's going to tell him otherwise. Okay? And if you told him otherwise, he wouldn't listen anyway. But he can also run against Donald Trump. Use that to your advantage. Point number 3. It's free media. You never turn down free media. Look at what Donald Trump has done with free media. I mean, a debate for 90 minutes on national television with millions of people who's watching, that is millions upon millions of dollars of free advertising. If you really believe in your positions, I would run onto this stage.
Yeah.
And be like, let me at him, okay? So I get a free 45 minutes or more to explain why I'm going to be a great candidate, not just in the primaries, but in the general election. You're nuts to throw that away.
She is desperate to go back into the shadows. They didn't want a competitive primary, and if they didn't have Bernie, you would have heard nothing about the Democrats the past year, and she wants to go back to that. She wants Bernie out of the race, and then it's going to be her and it's going to be Trump. And you tell me who the media are going to cover, how they're going to divvy up that time. It is going to be 95% of the time on Trump. She's going to have trouble getting any coverage whatsoever, and she's starting that off by turning down an opportunity to have 10 to 20 million people watch her on a debate stage.
So Trump is already doing the worst malicious attacks I've ever seen. She's saying, I'm not going to respond. Oh, yeah. Turning down an opportunity to get your message out. Now she throws 90 minutes of national TV into the garbage. More opportunity to get your message out. And there, Trump can't even defend himself.
Yeah.
It's 2 against 0. Right? He's not on the stage. You hit him hard, you hit him over and over again. You're nuts to turn that down. Finally, point number 4. Look, and they're not going to like this at all, but it's reality. Your number one problem if you're Hillary Clinton is your scores in honest and trustworthy are abysmal. They're as bad as we have ever seen. In fact, they're worse than Trump's. Oh, that's devastating, right? And what do? You break yet another promise. You said you'd do 4 debates. You said you'd do one in California, and now you're breaking a promise. Then they'll blame Bernie Sanders for, oh, you ruined my trustworthiness. Polling. No, this stuff ruined it. And okay, forget the broken promise part of it, which you shouldn't, but the second part of it is you're clearly doing it because you think it is to your political advantage. But that's the stuff that people hate.
Yeah.
It's that political convenience. Oh, I'll debate if I'm, hey, competitive or losing or et cetera, but I won't debate if I'm up. It's such a standard cheesy political move. That's your number one problem. That's how people perceive you.
Yeah, nobody
and
thinks
now you're feeding
busy.
into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't, look, I'm not a Hillary Clinton supporter, so it's hard for me to put myself in their place. But she has obviously millions of supporters in California, let alone the other states. If you're a Hillary Clinton supporter in California, how can you see anything, how can you see this as anything other than her spitting in your face? Like, you'd love to see her. She's the candidate you want. You'd love to hear, you want her to tear Bernie Sanders to shreds because you're so sick of him. And she obviously is doing this because she's scared that he might look better than her. And she doesn't care about whether you get more information before going to vote. I mean, how could you see that as anything other than insulting you? And by the way, to drive that message home, let's run to Bernie Sanders, because she has provided him this opportunity to make what seems like an abundantly clear point, which he's going to do in this video.
I was disturbed but not surprised to hear a few hours ago that Secretary Clinton has backed out of the debate. A number of months ago, our campaign and her campaign had reached an agreement on a number of debates, including one here in California in May. But I gotta tell you this, I think it is a little bit insulting to the people of California, our largest state, that she is not prepared to have a discussion with me about how she will help the Californians address the major crises that we face.
Okay, so by the way, this is the second promise she's broken recently. Remember, she promised, I will release my Goldman Sachs speeches transcripts as soon as everyone else in the race releases their transcripts of speeches they give to Wall Street. Well, there's only 2 people left in the race, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, and they haven't given any paid speeches to Wall Street. So they have effectively released the non-existent speeches.
Yeah.
So that's yet another broken promise. So when you add all these up, and then people go, come on, you're hitting Donald Trump for not releasing his taxes, saying what's he hiding? Good. You should definitely do that. That's definitely true, right? Now, but it's so obvious that you're hiding something in those Wall Street speeches. I know she's never going to release them now.
He's going to start attacking her on it. Trump is going to.
Of course.
And she's going to look terrible.
But when you have one issue after another where you break a promise and you do things for political expediency, then you shouldn't go around blaming anyone else because your untrustworthy numbers are the worst we've ever seen.
Yeah.
So this is what happens when you make decisions like this. Again, if I'm running, you couldn't keep, I don't care if I got a 50-point lead, you couldn't keep me off a debate stage, because I'm going to go out there and I'm going to make my point to the people, and I'm going to try to win them over, not just to win the election, but so that we can drive towards real change. I want more and more people to hear that message. One of the problems with Hillary Clinton is, what's her message?